Metro police are investigating after a man was hit and killed by a train. This happened just before 9:30 last night. Police say a man was on the train tracks along Dixie Highway near Pendleton Road. He was struck by that train and died at the scene.
A half hour later, police were called to South First Street in Old Louisville on reports of a body found in an alley. Officers say they found the body of a woman who'd been hit by a car. As of now, there are no suspects or vehicle information. We'll continue to follow this story and keep you updated as we learn more.
All right, let's talk about the Crystal Rogers case in Bardstown. Right now, prosecutors want to combine all three suspects into one trial.
That's something the attorney for the main suspect, Brooks Houck, does not want, and that's expected to be addressed in court this morning. So Jim Stratman is joining us here in the studio with more on this. Jim, what we're expected to hear more about today is the idea from Houck's defense that he wants a separate trial.
Yeah, it all comes back to the other two men that he's currently facing charges with, Joseph and Stephen Lawson, the father and son duo. The defense for Brooks Houck says that during interviews with police, there was a get Brooks type of mentality with the investigators. Now, Special Prosecutor Shane Young has requested that all three men be tried together. He alleges that the three worked together to kill Crystal Rogers and cover up her death 9 years ago. Now, again, Houck's attorney says police pitted the Lawsons against Houck during their interview. Houck has been the primary suspect in Rogers' disappearance for years, but he wasn't arrested and charged with her murder until last September. The Lawsons are charged with conspiracy to commit murder, and all three suspects are charged with tampering with physical evidence. Today's hearing is set to begin at 9 o'clock this morning. WHAS11 Shane McAllister will be in the courtroom providing updates as the judge hears arguments from both sides. You can follow along on WHAS11.com or in our news app. Grace, Eric.
All right, Jim, thank you. Once again, the other two suspects in the case are father-son duo Joseph and Steve Lawson. Steve Lawson recently had a motion to drop his charges denied. He's got a court date set for August the 8th, where he's expected to clarify for the judge if he wants to use or exclude the interviews he did with police. Joseph Lawson is expected back in court on July 18th for a status conference. Now, this is a case that we've been following for the past 9 years, thoroughly. And that's around the time when Bardstown mother Crystal Rogers went missing. That was 2015. If you'd like to see a full timeline of events since then, from Crystal Rogers' disappearance to Brooks Houck's arrest, head to WHAS11.com. Just click on the Focus Investigation tab on the homepage.
An LMPD detective will appear in court for the first time today after allegedly speeding past a stop sign and crashing into a trailer in Bullitt County. Detective Timothy Davis was arrested 2 weeks ago by his own department. Police say on May 18th, Davis was behind the wheel of his unmarked cruiser when he crashed into two trailers belonging to Tailored Renovations, a remodeling business in Mount Washington. Surveillance footage from the business shows a man getting out of the car after the crash and seemingly walking around assessing the damage. Davis has been charged with criminal mischief and tampering with evidence. His arrest warrant also notes alcohol is a contributing factor, but Davis is not charged with DWI. He's expected in court today at 1:30.
Police are looking for the driver responsible for killing a woman in a late-night hit-and-run. That's according to Metro Police. They say it happened just before midnight on Sunday at 16th and Jefferson Streets in the Russell neighborhood near the Western Cemetery. When officers arrived, they found a woman who'd been hit by a car. She was taken to a local hospital, but later died of her injuries. Police say that victim was 26 years old, and the LMPD believes the person responsible was driving a white sedan, possibly a Mazda, and heading south on 16th Street after leaving the scene. Anyone with information here is urged to call the anonymous tip line at 574-LMPD. Remember, you can also use the online portal.
The owners of a downtown Louisville skyscraper are being sued for allegedly defaulting on a nearly $30 million loan. According to a new lawsuit, the owners of the Meidiger Tower on 4th Street have failed to make payment on their loans since November. Now, lender Wilmington Trust claims the owners of the tower owe more than $30 million in taxes and fees. Wilmington Trust has moved to foreclose on the property.
People around Kentuckiana are still cleaning up after 2 tornadoes touched down on the 4th of July. The National Weather Service confirmed an EF1 tornado in the Parkland neighborhood, but no tornado siren sounded. According to Louisville Mayor Craig Greenberg, the city's siren system is triggered once the National Weather Service puts out a tornado warning. Officials with the National Weather Service said that line of storms that came through Louisville on Thursday afternoon were not considered by the National Weather Service standards strong enough to produce a tornado. And since the NWS did not issue a warning, MetroSafe never triggered the siren.
There is some hesitancy on our part to issue for all of these little circulations. If we issued a tornado warning for every single one of those, you guys, the public would just ignore any of our warnings. So we have to try to focus on the more intense things that we see before we issue a tornado warning, because we want the public to take those seriously.
The NWS says the tornado was on the ground for about a minute and tracked about a half mile.
If you've got any debris from the storm that you need to get rid of, Metro Government is offering free debris drop-off starting today. You can bring your tree debris to Solid Waste Management Services on Meriwether Avenue from 2 until 6 p.m. The site is going to remain open through Saturday, July the 13th.